A couple flights I'll remember forever, and this will always be one of them.
Tonight, a random act of kindness for our soldiers. How a group of airline passengers said thanks for the sacrifices they made. That's first on Fox 4. Good evening, I'm Richard Ray.
And I'm Shirley Washington. To make the tour of duty a little more bearable, the Pentagon is letting service members rotate out for 2 weeks at a time.
But recently, something special happened on one of those flights home from Iraq. Fox 4's Melissa Cutler reports.
There's a couple flights I'll remember forever, and this will always be one of them.
Last Sunday, 12 soldiers boarded an American Airlines flight from Atlanta to Chicago, coming back to the States from Iraq for 2 weeks of R&R. When flight attendant Lorrie says suddenly one of the passengers stood up.
The first class passenger took his boarding pass and started walking back to main cabin.
The next thing she knew, she says, one by one, the entire first class section of the plane stood up and gave up their seats for the servicemen and women.
The second businessman said, "Where are you sitting?" He goes, "Well, I'm sitting back in 22. He goes, "No, you're not. You're just taking my seat in first class."
Lorrie says the soldiers didn't know what to make of it at first.
They were almost afraid to take their seats. They were trying to give them back. And the businessmen were like, "No, you guys sit here. We're going back to main cabin." We were in the galley trying to keep it together because we were crying. It was just such a sweet thing and just amazing what these first class guys were doing for our servicemen.
Lorrie says one of the officers told her that the soldiers have been in Iraq for more than a year with bombs going off around them every day. She says some of the soldiers had tears in their eyes.
Just to know that we're behind them means the world to them.
In return, the servicemen signed gifts of Iraqi money.
Everyone was just there was so much energy. Everybody was so excited.
She says she just can't stop talking about it.
And our servicemen deserve to sit there for what they're doing for us and for our country.
Lorrie says she witnessed in one small way how people want to show their support for the troops. And on that day, the seats in first class were filled with some top-notch American soldiers worthy of a hero's welcome. In Frisco, Melissa Cutler, Fox 4 News.
To be eligible for the R&R program, a soldier must have served at least 3 months in Iraq, but no more than 11 months.
Insurgents ambushed 2 U.S. military patrols north of Baghdad today, including this one near Mosul in northern Iraq. 3 U.S. soldiers and an Iraqi civilian died in the bombings. The Mosul attack set fire to an oil tanker, sending thick black smoke into the air. Last week, coalition deaths topped 1,000 since the war in Iraq started.
Hundreds of people in Baquba, Iraq today protested against former dictator Saddam Hussein. They hung a dummy with a picture of Saddam with a noose, and then they burned the photo. The protest comes on the heels of Saddam Hussein's first court hearing last week on war crimes charges.
A woman and a 7-year-old boy are recovering after Dallas police say a man opened fire on them.